God may not be necessary to explain the universe's existence, but does that mean there is no place for spirituality in science? Here now to help us answer that, Lawrence Krauss, theoretical physicist and the author of A Universe from Nothing, Why There Is Something Rather Than Nothing. Superior to an artist. I'm asking.
Yeah, science can, because we can see the flower in lots more colors than you can with our eyes. We can see it in X-rays. We can see it in gamma rays. What science has done is open new windows on the universe. And how can that be a bad thing? Opening new windows allows the artistic spirit in everyone to thrive more. Science, I maintain, is like art and literature and music. It gives us a new perspective of our place in the cosmos and allows new fertile soil for our imaginations to grow.
Can you give me a personal example of that? When you saw something in science and you had what the rest of us might call a kind of an emotional, spiritual, artistic reaction?
Well, as I say, every time I look at a Hubble Space Telescope picture and I see hundreds of galaxies 10 billion light years away, and I think the light took 10 billion years to get to me, so that means that the stars that are in that picture probably don't even exist anymore, and the civilizations around those stars, if there were any, don't exist anymore. I find that's ground for my imagination. Probably for me, the fact that empty space has energy, which I'm pleased to say was something actually proposed before it was observed, it was so wild and crazy that even when I proposed it, I didn't believe it was true. And then I discovered it actually was. That's when the universe surprises you. And I just find that what makes worth getting up every day, worth getting up for.
Okay. Let me read, I'm going to read a couple of quotes for you now.
Okay.
Here's the first. Carl Sagan. You've heard of him.
Yes, I have. I knew him.
Science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality. When we recognize our place in an immensity of light years and in the passage of ages, when we grasp the intricacy, beauty, and subtlety of life, then that soaring feeling, that sense of elation and humility combined is surely spiritual. And then I'm going to buttress that with the British philosopher Alan Watts, who once said, "You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. We do not come into this world, we come out of it, as leaves from a tree. As the ocean waves, the universe peoples. Every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature, a unique action of the total universe." Does that speak to you?
The first one speaks to me more than the second, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Obviously, I agree with what Carl Sagan said. It's a beautiful book it came from. The second, look, it's a nice idea. I found it a little new agey for me. I mean, it gives a sense that somehow we are connected to the universe, but not in such an abstract sense. We're connected to the universe by our atoms. Every atom in our body was once inside an exploding star. We talked about exploding stars before. Every atom in our body was inside a star that exploded. The atoms in your left hand might have been inside a different star than your right hand, because the elements that make you up, the carbon, the nitrogen, and the oxygen, they weren't made in the Big Bang. The only elements that were made in the Big Bang were hydrogen, helium, and a little bit of lithium, and I'm assuming lithium isn't important to you, but carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen are, and the only places those are made are in the cores of stars. So we are literally stardust. We are stars, and they are us. And that, of course, speaks to what that quote was about, but in a real, definite way. That's what I mean by the fact that the science adds to that those vague philosophical meanderings. It tells us things that are worth sitting back and reflecting about.